Hello guys and welcome back. Today I'm revisiting the idea of enemies dropping the weapons they are holding, which if you don't already know was a feature in Borderlands 1. So with that, let's get right into it. Okay, so to find the answer for this question, we have to go back to 2013, where an article was written with Paul Hellquist, who was creative director for Borderlands 2 and former Gearbox employee. If you want to read the article for yourself, links will be in the description down below. To understand these changes, you first have to understand how the loot system in Borderlands 1 worked. Hellquist sums it up, quote, "In Borderlands, rarity came from the parts that combined to make the weapon. Each part had a value. The game would add up values of all the parts, and if it landed within the green range, the item would be green. The higher value parts there were, the more rare the weapon." Then an example is given. Imagine a gun with 3 parts. Each part has a rarity value of 5, 10, and 10. Together they are worth 25 points. Now imagine that the scale that determined rarity is like this. 0 to 10 points is white, 10 to 20 points is green, 20 to 30 points is blue. Our imaginary gun would fit in the blue weapon category, which meant the developers had little to no control over the rarity dropped loot from an enemy. They could control what class of gear, as in gun, shield, grenade, etc., and they used a system called awesome level. It was a factor that influenced the weight of parts, so the game was more likely to use parts with higher rarity values, which Hellquist sums up as, quote, "We had no direct control over the rarity that weapons would drop." He said the awesomeness level could be ridiculously high, and the boss could drop all 5 legendaries one run, and all whites the next. It was as close to random as you could get system. While in Borderlands 2, they changed this method to say, quote, "Sledge will drop 3 whites, 2 greens, 1 blue, a 10% chance for a purple, and a 1% chance for a legendary," giving them a lot more control in kind of controlling the in-game loot economy. Also, the way Borderlands worked with the awesome level is that the higher level you were, the higher awesome level it was, so it scaled up as you got further into the game and further into endgame. So you got more rare drops the longer you played. The new system does not do that. Your chances at good loot are the same throughout the entire game. In Borderlands 2, they completely rehauled this system. They removed the awesome level and how rarity was determined by gear, and parts now no longer affect gear. Now each rarity is chosen applies modifiers to the damage of the weapon. Each rarity level is like adding 2 levels worth of damage to the weapon. So a level 10 green weapon has the same damage as a level 12 white weapon. A level 10 blue weapon has the same damage as a level 14 white or 12 green, and so on, which they believed would help players care about each level of rarity as the player progressed through the endgame. They also believed that this would give players the option to change their weapons more frequently. Now, a side effect of this system. So we finally get back to enemies dropping the weapons they are holding. In Borderlands 1, the weapons the enemies could drop used the same item pool as the weapons they would shoot you with. The design resulted in an awesome feeling of seeing an enemy drop an interesting or legendary weapon, and then you could kill them and collect this weapon. But once the damage scale was increased and they now had control over the drop rates, an interesting side effect occurred. Since they used the same pool for the gun as they did for the drops, there was now a 1 in 10 chance that an enemy was shooting the gun 2 levels better than you, a 1 in 100 chance they were shooting the gun 4 levels higher than you, and a 1 in 1,000 chance that you just got one shot by a bandit marauder wielding a super powerful purple. They then realized that combat had become completely unpredictable. Balance of the combat went out the window. Enemies could either be laughably easy, a good challenge, or unreasonably too difficult. It even varied from enemy to enemy in the same fight or area. So they decided they needed more control over the combat in-game. To fix this, they made different item pools for weapons, and enemies would use different weapons than what they could drop. But they decided to control over drops and making weapons age out as you level up. They decided it was worth the trade-off. What do you guys think? I personally think this was the start of Borderlands' exponential scaling system, which in my opinion hurt the endgame more than it helped. I was also a fan of enemies dropping the weapons, which I believe most of you guys are as well. But it all goes back to the exponential health and damage scaling. The way damage and health works in the game, the reason that the enemies can't use the same guns they can drop is because damage scales up so quickly in Borderlands 2 to make you use different weapons more and switch loot more. It also makes so your health gets way higher in the end game, and how health gating works, and you can't keep your health high enough. And I think there's a lot of problems in it, and that could be a whole separate video. Let me know what you guys think. Did you guys like enemies dropping their weapons in Borderlands 1, or do you prefer the way loot works in Borderlands 2? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next one.